First contact and deception. The quantum detection array beneath the Atacama Desert erupted with alerts at precisely 3:47 a.m. Earth Standard Time. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readings in disbelief before activating the Global Defense Network with trembling fingers. Humanity had waited decades for this moment, though few beyond the inner circles of global leadership knew it. Multiple objects detected dropping out of FTL at the Kuiper Belt boundary. She announced into her secure comlink. Mass signatures match Galactic Empire vessel profiles. Countdown to Earth visibility. 6 hours. In Washington, D.C., Beijing, Moscow, New Delhi, and a dozen other capitals, leaders moved to their underground command centers. Operation Masquerade, rehearsed countless times over the past 30 years, began seamlessly. On the surface, Earth continued its daily routine. Satellites broadcasting regular television shows, commercial flights following their paths, and civilians going about their morning commute. But beneath this carefully maintained veneer of normalcy, humanity's true face emerged. Deep within Mount Cheyenne, General Michael Okonjo watched as holographic displays showed the approaching Galactic fleet. Their vessels, each nearly 5 kilometers long, moved with the arrogant confidence of assumed superiority. The general allowed himself a small smile. The Galactic Empire had conquered 300 worlds using the same tactical approach. Overwhelm primitive civilizations with their apparent technological superiority, demand submission, and integrate the defeated planet into their empire. They're scanning the decoy satellites, reported Captain Lisa Rodriguez, monitoring the sensor feeds. They're picking up exactly what we want them to see. Early space-age technology, basic fusion power, and preliminary quantum computing attempts. The truth was far different. The crashed Galactic scout ship in Brazil 50 years ago had given humanity an unprecedented advantage. Advance warning of the Empire's existence and access to their basic technology. Instead of announcing the discovery to the world, Earth's leaders had made an unprecedented decision. Complete secrecy while preparing for the inevitable encounter. Beneath the oceans, inside hollow mountains, and in hidden facilities across the solar system, humanity had built its real civilization. Quantum computers orders of magnitude more powerful than the Empire's best. Weapons that could tear apart space-time itself. Ships that could outmaneuver anything in the Galactic fleet. But most importantly, humanity had developed what the Empire had never bothered to perfect: stealth technology. The fleet has passed Mars orbit, Rodriguez announced. Their scan patterns indicate they're following standard invasion protocol. General Okonjo nodded. And our response teams. All in position, sir. Lunar defense grid is powered but cloaked. The Jupiter fleet is ready to jump on your command. All civilian populations are within 5 minutes of their designated shelters. The general opened a secure channel to the United Earth Defense Council. This is Cheyenne Mountain. The Galactic fleet will achieve Earth orbit in approximately 2 hours. All systems are in position for Operation Masquerade Phase 2. In orbit around Jupiter, Commander Sarah Patel watched the waiting fleet of Earth vessels, not the primitive chemical rockets the Galactic would expect, but ships incorporating 50 years of reversed engineered and improved alien technology. Her crew, like all of Earth's defense forces, had trained their entire lives for this moment. The Galactic Empire was about to learn a harsh lesson about appearances. They assumed they would find a primitive world ready for conquest. Instead, they would discover a unified planet that had spent half a century preparing specifically to resist them. As the massive Galactic vessels approached Earth orbit, General Okonjo sent one final message to all Earth forces: remember your training. Let them think they have the upper hand. Only when they make their demands do we show them humanity's true face. The trap was set. Humanity's greatest performance was about to begin, and the galaxy's most powerful empire was walking right into it. The hidden arsenal. The Galactic flagship, Eternal Dominion, settled into low Earth orbit, its massive hull casting shadows over the cities below. On its command deck, High Admiral Vextor watched the primitive human communications with amusement. Their media outlets buzzed with panic. Their military jets made futile circles beneath his ships, and their leaders scrambled to convene emergency meetings. Perfect, just like every other conquest. My lord, his second-in-command reported, we're detecting no defensive systems beyond their basic missile installations. Their most advanced weapons appear to be nuclear devices with primitive delivery systems. Vextor's facial tentacles rippled with satisfaction. Begin the standard intimidation protocol. Target their largest military installations with targeting scanners. Let them see their defenses mean nothing to us. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the hidden command center of humanity's true fleet, Admiral Helena Santos watched the Kraxan ships with predatory satisfaction. The aliens were following their playbook perfectly, positioning their vessels exactly where Earth's defense planners had predicted they would. All Phantom systems operating at full capacity, her tactical officer reported. The Kraxan are seeing exactly what we want them to see. Their scans are being fed our prepared data streams. Santos nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the true situation around Earth. What the Kraxan saw as empty space was actually filled with hundreds of advanced human vessels, their quantum stealth systems making them completely invisible to Imperial sensors. Status of the Lazarus Protocol, she asked. Ready for deployment, Admiral. The moment they fire their first warning shot, we can activate the gravity wells. The Lazarus Protocol was humanity's masterstroke, a series of artificial gravity generators that could trap enemy ships in place, preventing both movement and faster-than-light escape. Technology that the Kraxan Empire believed was theoretically impossible. Above Moscow, the Kraxan finally made their move. A brilliant beam of energy lanced down from one of their ships, destroying an abandoned military base in a spectacular display of power. The base, of course, had been prepared for this exact purpose, filled with outdated equipment and carefully crafted debris. Attention, primitive world. Vextor's voice boomed across Earth's communication channels. You have witnessed a fraction of our power. Your military installations can be eliminated with a single shot. Surrender now, and the Eternal Empire will be merciful. Resist, and we will demonstrate our full might. In the White House Situation Room, President Chen exchanged glances with her military advisors. The moment they had prepared for had arrived. Admiral Santos, she spoke into her quantum-encrypted communicator. You have authorization to proceed with Phase 3. In her underwater command center, Santos allowed herself a small smile. Initiate Lazarus Protocol. All ships, power up your gravity generators. Let's show our visitors why humanity hasn't fought a war against itself in 50 years. Across Earth orbit, invisible fields of distorted space-time suddenly sprang to life. The Kraxan ships shuddered as their engines struggled against forces they couldn't detect or understand. Vextor's bridge erupted in chaos as warning alerts screamed from every console. My lord, his science officer shouted, we're detecting massive gravitational anomalies. The ships can't move. Impossible. Vextor bellowed. These primitives don't have that technology. No one has that technology. As if in answer to his outburst, the space around his fleet suddenly shimmered. Where there had been empty void, hundreds of sleek vessels now appeared, their black hulls seeming to drink in the sunlight. Each one was smaller than the Kraxan ships, but their designs were unlike anything the Empire had ever encountered. On her command deck, Admiral Santos opened a channel to the trapped Kraxan fleet. This is Admiral Helena Santos of the United Earth Defense Force. For 50 years, we've prepared for this moment. You see those gravity wells holding your ships in place. That's just the beginning of what we can do. Would you like to see what else humanity has been hiding? The silence from the Kraxan fleet was deafening. Humanity's mask had finally dropped, and the galaxy's greatest empire was about to learn why appearances could be deceiving. Counterstrike. Vextor's command center descended into chaos as his officers frantically reported system failures across the fleet. The Eternal Empire's most advanced scanning technology could barely comprehend what they were seeing. Human vessels shouldn't exist at this level of sophistication. Yet there they were, their dark hulls reflecting starlight as they maintained their perfect formation around the trapped Kraxan fleet. "My lord," his tactical officer's voice quavered, "we're detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our database. Their weapons, they're not using standard particle beams or plasma technology." Before Vextor could respond, a new voice cut across all communication channels. "This is Commander David Jung of the UES Prometheus. Your weapons are now offline. Don't bother checking. We didn't hack them. We simply created a quantum field that prevents particle acceleration within your ship's weapon systems. Something your scientists said was impossible, correct?" In her underwater command center, Admiral Santos watched the situation unfold with calculated precision. "All ships, execute Maneuver Theta. Show them what Earth's finest can do." The human fleet moved with impossible grace, their ships performing maneuvers that defied the Empire's understanding of physics. What the Kraxan didn't know was that each vessel utilized artificial gravity manipulation not just as a weapon, but as their primary propulsion system. They didn't push against space, they pulled it. Multiple quantum signatures detected. A Kraxan sensor operator screamed. They're opening portals. Across the battlefield, circles of distorted spacetime appeared. From each one emerged more Earth vessels. But these were different. Smaller, faster, designed for one purpose: absolute superiority in close-quarter space combat. "Strike Team Alpha, you have permission to demonstrate," Santos ordered. The smaller Earth ships accelerated toward the nearest Kraxan vessel. Instead of firing weapons, they simply passed through its shields as if they didn't exist. The Empire's most advanced defensive technology, rendered useless by humanity's understanding of quantum phase shifting. "Impossible," Vextor roared. "Shields at maximum power. Your shield technology is based on energy deflection." Zhang's voice came again, almost sympathetic. "Ours works by temporarily shifting matter between quantum states. We learned that from studying your crashed scout ship 50 years ago. We just took the concept further than your scientists ever imagined possible." The demonstration continued as Earth ships danced through the Kraxan fleet's defenses like ghosts through walls. Each pass left key systems disabled. Weapons, engines, communications, not destroyed, but precisely neutralized with surgical precision. In the White House Situation Room, President Chen watched the operation with quiet satisfaction. "Admiral Santos, proceed with Phase 4. The massive doors built into the lunar surface slowly opened. From their depths rose humanity's masterpiece, the UES Harbinger, nearly as large as a Kraxan capital ship, but built with technology so advanced it might as well have been magic to the Empire sensors. "Attention Kraxan fleet," Santos broadcast. "The vessel you see emerging from the moon is powered by what you would call the zero-point energy matrix. We developed it 30 years ago. Its primary weapon system manipulates the fundamental forces that hold matter together. We've never used it in actual combat because, quite frankly, we're afraid of what it might do. Would you like a demonstration?" The Harbinger's main cannon aligned with a point in space 1/2 kilometer from the nearest Kraxan ship. A beam of pure white light lanced out. Where it hit, space itself seemed to ripple, then tear. The fabric of reality distorted for a brief moment before snapping back to normal. "That was 0.1% power," Santos continued. "Imagine what full power could do to your ships. Actually, don't imagine. Your scientists' calculations are in our databases. We know exactly what it would do. The real question is, do you want to find out firsthand?" The silence from the Kraxan fleet stretched for several long moments before Vextor's voice came through, noticeably less confident than before. What are your terms?" Admiral Santos allowed herself a small smile. The game had changed, and everyone knew it. Earth wasn't just refusing to submit, it was rewriting the rules of galactic warfare itself. The final warning. In the crystalline halls of the Kraxan Empire's High Command, chaos reigned. Emergency transmissions from Vextor's fleet had triggered an unprecedented crisis session. The massive holographic displays showed something the Empire had never encountered in its 1,000 years of expansion. Complete military superiority by a supposedly primitive species. High Commander Zixtal, supreme leader of the Imperial forces, watched the footage with his primary hearts racing. "Impossible," he whispered, his ceremonial armor suddenly feeling too heavy. They were supposed to be pre-FTL primitives. Meanwhile, Earth's leadership had convened in the deep space facility known as Point Omega, hidden within the asteroid belt. President Chen stood before representatives from every nation, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of quantum displays. "The time has come," she announced, "to deliver our message to the Empire. Admiral Santos, you may proceed." The Admiral's image appeared on every screen in both the Earth Alliance and the Kraxan Empire's command centers. Her expression was not one of triumph, but of solemn determination. "To the leadership of the Kraxan Empire," she began, "what you have witnessed today is approximately 5% of Earth's true military capability. We could have destroyed your fleet the moment it entered our solar system. Instead, we chose to demonstrate our strength with precision and restraint. In orbit, the Harbinger's massive form shifted, its hull reconfiguring as hidden weapon systems emerged. The Kraxan sensors detected energy readings that defied their understanding of physics. But this is not just about military power," Santos continued. "While your empire focused on conquest, humanity chose a different path. We have ships that can fold space. We have computers that can predict quantum fluctuations. We have energy sources that your scientists consider theoretical." The holographic displays in the Kraxan High Command suddenly shifted, showing images that made the Imperial leaders step back in shock. Massive shipyards hidden inside Jupiter's moons, energy matrices spanning the rings of Saturn, a network of quantum gates connecting the entire solar system. "This is humanity's only warning." President Chen's voice joined the transmission. "We have no interest in conquest. We don't want your territory. We don't need your resources. What we want is simple: recognition of Earth and the entire Sol system as a sovereign, independent territory, permanently off-limits to Imperial expansion." High Commander Zixtal found his voice. "And if we refuse?" The response came not in words, but in action. Across the galaxy, every Kraxan military installation simultaneously detected quantum signals emanating from previously unseen devices. Devices that had been planted years ago, waiting for this moment. "Those signals you're detecting," Santos explained, her voice calm but firm, "they're from our quantum entanglement network. We have observation posts across your entire empire, gathering data, monitoring your movements. We could shut down your entire military infrastructure with a single command." The implications hit the Imperial leadership like a physical blow. Earth hadn't just prepared for this confrontation. They had been 10 steps ahead the entire time. "You have 24 hours to withdraw all forces from the Sol system and sign our proposed non-aggression treaty," President Chen stated. "After that, we will consider any Imperial military presence within 50 light-years of Earth as an act of war. And let me be clear, it would be a war you cannot win." The Harbinger's main cannon powered up again, this time targeting an empty region of space near Mars. The beam fired, and for a brief moment, reality itself seemed to tear open, revealing glimpses of other dimensions before sealing itself. That demonstration, Santos added, was 0.1% of the Harbinger's full power. "We have 20 more ships like it in production. Consider your next move carefully." As the transmission ended, silence fell over both command centers. The Empire's leaders looked at each other, facing a reality they had never imagined possible. They had come expecting to find primitive humans ready for conquest. Instead, they had found something far more dangerous: a unified humanity that had spent half a century preparing specifically for this moment. The message was clear. The galaxy's balance of power had shifted, and humanity had just taken its place on the galactic stage. not as conquerors, not as subjects, but as equals who demanded respect. A new dawn. 3 months after humanity's demonstration of power, the grand halls of the newly constructed Galactic Concordat on Luna bustled with activity. Representatives from 200 species gathered in the crystalline chamber, their diverse forms illuminated by Earth's glow through the transparent dome above. The historic First Galactic Conference for Mutual Cooperation was about to begin. The Galactic Empire's decision had come well within the 24-hour deadline. They had chosen wisdom over pride, signing not just a non-aggression pact, but opening diplomatic channels for a complete restructuring of galactic relations. Their surrender had triggered a cascade of changes throughout known space. Admiral Santos, now Earth's supreme ambassador, stood at the central podium. Beside her, President Chen prepared to address the assembled species. But it was the figure on their other side that truly marked the day's historic nature. High Commander Zixtal himself, no longer in military regalia, but in the simple robes of a diplomatic envoy. 3 months ago, President Chen began. Humanity revealed itself to the galaxy. Today, we reveal our true ambition. Not conquest, not dominion, but partnership. The holographic displays activated, showing a vision that made even the most jaded diplomatic representatives lean forward. A network of quantum gates connecting distant stars. Clean energy technology that could rejuvenate dying worlds. Medical advances that could extend life across all known species. The Galactic Empire ruled through force. Santos continued. Earth proposes a different path. Every advancement you see here will be shared. Every technology will be available to all member worlds. The only requirement is peace. In the audience, representatives from worlds long suppressed by the Empire watched with growing hope. Worlds that had lived under the shadow of imperial dominion for generations now saw a new possibility. Zixtal stepped forward, his voice carrying the weight of his empire's transformed perspective. For 1,000 years, we believed power came from conquest. In a single day, Earth proved us wrong. They could have destroyed us. Instead, they showed us a better way. The changes were already spreading across the galaxy. Imperial garrison fleets were standing down. Suppressed worlds were gaining independence, and Earth's technology was transforming everything it touched. In the asteroid belt, the first interspecies technology exchange center was nearing completion. Scientists from 50 worlds worked together, combining their knowledge in ways never before possible. The quantum computers that Earth had developed were being used to solve problems that had plagued civilizations for millennia. But this is just the beginning, President Chen announced. Today, we propose the formation of the Galactic Scientific Coalition, a united effort to explore not just space, but the fundamental nature of reality itself. The holographic displays shifted again, showing the first joint human-alien project, a massive structure taking shape in orbit around Jupiter. The Reality Investigation Array, a device designed to peer into other dimensions, to understand the very fabric of existence. Humanity kept its advances secret because we had to, Santos explained. We hid our strength because we feared it would be challenged. Now, we hide nothing. Every discovery, every advancement will be shared. Together, we will reach heights none of us could achieve alone. In the deep space shipyards of Saturn's rings, the first joint species vessels were already under construction. Ships that combined Earth's quantum technology with alien innovations, creating something entirely new. Not weapons of war, but ships of exploration, designed to push the boundaries of known space. As the conference continued, the representatives began to understand the full scope of humanity's vision. Earth hadn't just stopped an empire, they had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. The age of conquest was over. The age of cooperation had begun. In her private thoughts, Admiral Santos reflected on the journey that had brought them here. 50 years of preparation, of sacrifice, of unity in the face of a common threat. Humanity had built its strength not to dominate, but to ensure that when they finally stepped onto the galactic stage, they could do so on their own terms. The stars above Luna's surface seemed brighter somehow, as if reflecting the hope of this new era. Humanity had given the galaxy its final warning about aggression. But more importantly, they had given it its first real chance at lasting peace. As night fell on Earth, billions of humans looked up at the stars with new eyes. They were no longer just distant lights. They were destinations, filled with new allies, new knowledge, and new possibilities. The galaxy had changed forever, and humanity had led the way not through force, but through the power of choice. The age of empires was over. The age of understanding had begun.